I have one thought today, and it was about living your life and what are you living it for or through. I think some of us live life for making money and status and power and how much materialistic goods we can get in this world and this lifetime. Perhaps others, it's about creating a sense of freedom and being able to do what you want when you want and having the means to do that without a lot of excess piled on. And I suppose others, it's about more just pure power and politics and controlling how the economy or the country or the world flows and the direction it's going. And I suppose that we can all have a little piece of that through our political opinions, thinking that our own individual opinions going to make a big, vast change, when in reality, our sphere of influence is so small and minute that it kind of makes me think, which avenue should we go for? Is it money and status? Is it for freedom? Or maybe for power within the political realm? I think that perhaps a problem with our power structures is it's been intertwined now with money and status and power, and those three elements are putting too much control within a few. And it kind of makes us all obsessed about what we're living for, rather than what's most important is what we don't actually appreciate, which is our own health and mental clarity. Everything else seems so important until we lose our ability to think logically or think at all without having some kind of mental degradation, and also our health. When those two things fail, everything else seems to become obsolete. And so I think that's what I've been trying to do more, is living a cleaner, healthier lifestyle and putting everything else kind of on the back burner. I suppose that's why I ride my bike a lot and I go and do a lot of flexibility and strength training and focus on nutrition through a lot of intermittent fasting, trying to eat cleaner and just simple ingredients. Because I think that the way the world's going, the direction's already been dictated where we're headed. And I don't think that my own mediocre opinion is really going to change too much of it. So I need to just internalize and focus on what am I doing in the moment and what are my future goals and what do I want. Because we could fail at anything, so we might as well fail at something we at least enjoy doing. And I think for me, that's definitely making videos. And so I might as well fail at making a few videos while riding my bike, which is another thing I like to do, than failing in real life at a desk. Let's see if I can succeed, though, at riding up this dirt hill. I probably will fail that. Shift easy gear. And let's see. I just kind of wanted to come down to this spot to film this little monologue. Oh, this is embarrassing. Come on, come on. No traction. All right, pushing. I mean, it's also hard to hold the camera and do this. That's my excuse. The longer that I seem to be alive on this planet, the more I realize that your health, clarity of mind, and freedom seem to be the most important elements. If you're freely able to move around and you have a sound mind, fairly well educated, or the ability to learn, and you have the health, it doesn't matter where you live, as long as you're not freezing or in a volcano. You know, obviously the two extreme temperatures. I think that there's always going to be opportunities and the ability to survive. Now, without health and mobility, you're really going to be constrained, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, because you're still not going to be able to move around without the assistance of other people, which I wouldn't really call freedom. And I think that's why it's so important to maintain a level of fitness and body weight to where you can move, because someone might be healthy but also 300 pounds and just not be able to walk very far, really move long distances on their own power. And so in that regards, they're always going to be reliant on other people to help them. And another drop chain. I tried to be so careful shifting it. As humanity, we definitely serve false gods. Those of decadence, overconsumption, materialism, celebrities, politicians. We worship those who we think might help us or have our best interests in mind. But when it all comes down to it, it's probably just up to us to take care of ourselves, not worship ourselves, but make more of ourself the focus of this life. I mean, that's all we have anyways. You know, the idea of being a citizen of the country, a citizen of the world, your family, whatever. It all just comes back to, are you taking care of yourself? Are you maintaining this body that's been given to your soul and spirit? Are you nourishing it, taking care of it, training it, and putting it through enough hardships to create resiliency without resentment? And as long as you have this body and mind combo, if you're on the streets, living in a tent, whatever it may be, you can be rest assured that at least you have your autonomy, your own mind, and that freedom. Some places and countries, you may have your body and mind, but you don't have your freedoms. Luckily, the world is more free now than it probably ever has been. And so, with that gift of freedom, I think also comes the gift of failure, where you could end up homeless, living wherever, perhaps asking other people for food and water, and perhaps shelter at times. And I think that's okay to live off of what the universe and the world gives. Because as we are all energy forces, whether you like it or not, when you harm someone, you feel it in your soul, and you feel pain within yourself that you harmed someone. Because you're also harming yourself and harming someone else, as we're all part of a divine energy source or spark, you could say, the one of life. So when you hurt animals, the environment, plants, other human beings, you're also damaging a part of yourself. But also when you give and you help others, you feel that joy and happiness and fulfillment in your own heart. And I think that we can either draw off that negative energy source or the positive, because there's a lot of good and a lot of giving and just overall righteousness in the world. And that energy can also, I think, fuel us and get us through some tough times, even when it seems all hope is lost. There is still a goodness to draw off of. Right now, I think quite a few of us are gonna have to come to terms that the land might become our new home. Perhaps there'll be some churches like this that will help some people, but I think the government has checked out, at least in America, to focusing on helping us at least. I'm not really sure what the plan is, but I suppose that all we can really do is, again, focus on ourselves and make sure that we are ready. I imagine at some point the living in a car, or perhaps somewhere in like a tent, hopefully in a mild climate, would be in the future. And I think it's okay to come to terms, you could say, with that type of lifestyle. I won't be the first nor the last. There's a lot of people out there struggling far worse. And you know, I think if you have a bicycle, a backpack, you can do something for yourself. The bike will give you transportation without needing any insurance or gasoline, and they're relatively easy to just maintain. And a backpack to carry, you know, a couple sets of clothes, and that's all you really need. And I imagine that if you ask just for food and water, you could pretty easily get that out in the world, and the universe will provide. It won't give you luxuries, but I think that there's enough goodness to always provide you with the bare minimum. As long as you stay true to yourself, don't squander whatever earnings you make on alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever evils are in the world, smoking cigarettes, you know, things that just don't serve you. As long as you keep investing perhaps in things that serve you, whatever your living circumstances are, there's a way to change them. Unless you give up and you just give in to things that won't serve your future and only degrade and destroy your body. For those things like drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, materialism, those are items for the ultra wealthy. For those of us kind of in the middle to the bottom, it's about survival and just taking care of your own temple, which is your body. There's no other temples that will be given to you. When I'm out here, I think a lot about spirituality. And do you think that, say, a God would be about materialism or the spiritual? And when you look at some places like this, you really have to wonder, this person with their huge mansion, what are they serving? You think a God of goodness, fairness, and life, and loving each other would be promoting this level of decadence? Or maybe one that is about materialism, gaining as much wealth and resources for yourself and keeping it all within your own little bubble and lineage without thinking about the well-being of the others and the world around them. I would imagine that they would be serving an evil force, which would be about materialism and hoarding, rather than one about giving and sharing and loving your neighbor. One of the last things I've been thinking about is all of these so-called Christian people who support maximizing materialism, wealth, status, and their power. I think I remember something about Jesus saying it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a wealthy man to enter the kingdom of heaven. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible. And I think the meaning is you either serve this world and the materialism of it, or you serve a divine spiritual journey. One that's not of this world, and one that's trying to gain the knowledge to escape the materialism. So that way we can enter into a spiritual kingdom, returning to the source of our own life, our own knowledge, sense of self, and the soul. Or if you'd like to remain on this materialistic world, then you serve what's in this world, which is just temporariness. You have a life, you have a body, and you die. So it's pursuing one of death. And no matter how much material that you acquire here, there's always going to be a void in your soul and your spirit, because that's not what we're meant for. We're meant for a spiritual journey and to set our own spirits free. And so if you don't figure that out, you may have to just repeat this simulation over and over again, or disappear into the void, whichever one you believe. But in a spiritual heaven or kingdom, our wealth there won't come from what we've acquired here. It'll come from what we've done for our fellow journeyers, or fellow souls and energy that we're all connected to. It's what we've done to help them along their journey, and not what we've just done for ourselves. I mean, I could also be full of shit as well, because I'm pretty tired. It's been a lot of work, and not a lot of rest. Perhaps the new luxuries of life will just be being able to take a break when you're tired, to not to have to go and slave away when it's hard to keep your eyeballs open and your energy levels high. Maybe just simply laying down in some grass and resting. The simple luxuries that we were made for.